friends, hello and welcome back. Hope everyone is having a lovely day. So today we're going to talk a little bit about what is going on with the current marketplace, the landscape of MLB The Show 24 to hopefully hope you guys earn some stubs, make some stubs, make some good financial decisions, kind of understand what's going on. It is a lot different this year. You know, in years past, even a few weeks into the season, we're seeing live series. You know, they're going up from like 150 to 300K. You know, even it was last year. You had a 400K Trout, you had a 250K Acuna, there was a 200K Tatis. Ain't nobody coming close to touching that right now this season. So the investment landscape, it's been tough. It's been very tough. And there are reasons for this. More on that in a little bit. But, you know, it's been tough, but there is still room to make some stubs. Now, you know, just quickly touching up on some live series stuff, I think there's a couple of things. You know, you're still going to see players' prices go up with the roster update. I don't think you're going to see it go up substantially with any of your guys that are already pricey. I mean, again, you could see it a little bit with like the Freddie Freemans, the Spencer Striders, if they get like a +2, a +3. I think a lot of the guys, though, say 88 and below, they're really going to sit right around quick sell. Until they get to that 90 plus range, you know, your 3K guys, your 4K guys. And there's a little bit of wiggle room in that, of course, with the quick sell values of cards. But for the most part, those guys are going to kind of stay where they're at unless you're investing in somebody that says, again, you know, he's an 87, you can go up to, you know, a 90, and you get the quick sell value or whatever, a 90s. It's so different for live series in every card this year. But depending on whatever the quick sell value is, you're going to get that plus some. And the thing is with the landscape, the way it is every single year, just to put it out there, it's usually the first couple players that go from gold to diamond to super diamond that upgrade quickly. Those are normally the ones that pop. You know, people start to learn about, you know, the investing, the cards being dynamic, going up. They make a lot of coins. But the later you get into the year, you know, a couple roster updates in, 3, 4 in, that's when you start to see kind of prices kind of mellow out. The investments the returns aren't as big, we should say. You could still say, again, you know, put an 8K in on Tatis, you know, 6K in on Tatis, whatever. And he goes up to a 91, and now he's going for 13, 14K, maybe 20, 25K. But for the most part, you know, especially when it comes to the lower tier diamonds, they kind of always sit around quick sell, especially after that. But right now, again, I think it is, you know, there are coins to be made if you're looking at long-term investments for some gold players. They, once again, you know, especially the 84s, it just takes a +1. Even the 83s, they're all going for quick sell right now. When they come out with their first live roster update, any of these guys, they get hot, you pay attention, you know how they're going to do. You invest in them early, you can turn a K into, again, the 2K quick sell, the 3K quick sell very quickly. And again, it's smaller increments, but you're going to make a lot of coins. I mean, you can essentially triple your coins. You can pay for a K, get them for 3K quick sell. That's still going to be something that we can do and talk about. You know, we'll do that in the future. We'll do the roster update prediction videos. That's one thing I haven't done this year is dive completely deep into some of these gold players, silver players, and say those guys undervalued right now, pick them up. So we're not going to dive too deep into that. But the reason we're seeing the prices where they are, the landscaping as tough as it is, because even, you know, the hyper players, I'll admit, you know, we've had a tough time flipping these bad boys this season. And, you know, part of it's my own fault because I haven't, you know, been as consistent. Yeah, I hold on to them too long just because I forget to put them up, or I can put them up, whatever. That's part of it. But also it's just, you're not seeing the value kind of stay where they once were, where these bad boys would, you know, trickle higher because they're not in packs. And the reason for that is this. And it's the same reason for everything. Everything that's being affected on the marketplace this year. It's the collections. The reason the live series players aren't going for as much is because the number 1, number 2, and number 3 players are 95s. Years past, they've been 99s. So you're putting all those players in for 95. All of a sudden, it's just not as worth it. Especially a first baseman that's bronze fielding with 83 by 82. It's just not, when we're used to seeing the 99s, we're used to seeing 100 power, 100 contact. It's just not that appealing to most people. So if people aren't trying to do that and earn that card, it's just like, okay, so I'm not going to lock these players in. And then there's the Babe Ruth. And the Babe Ruth, the big, you know, gripe people always have with Babe Ruth, that is Babe freaking Ruth. But he's got that really slow windup that takes forever. A lot of people don't like dealing with that. And then he does have, I'm trying to toggle here. Was my controller broken? Oh, I'm hitting the right stick in. That's my fault. He does have a sick hitting card. It does matter how well that card hits. Because, you know, you hear in and out of whether people love or hate using him as in that position. But that's the thing, I think. I think the desire, it's just, it's not there. Like I honestly, knowing what Babe Ruth was in years past and knowing his card's always kind of been, again, overrated, or it doesn't play to what its statistics are. I haven't had a desire to do any of these. And if you're not having a desire, like other people probably aren't as well. I know some people still do it, but if you don't have the desire to do it, that means people aren't locking in the live series players to complete the collection. If they're not locking the live series players, that means they're always on the market. The more supply in the market, the lower the lower demand, the lower the price is going to go. And that might not be affecting the live series quite like it's affecting everybody else. Because the season collection is the reason we're seeing some of these cards. Is specifically, again, even like the spring breakouts. You've never seen this in the past. Where a 90 overall, that's a 90 overall, terrible example. Let's see if we can find something better. 90, we had them around here somewhere. I'm trying to figure out where we put them. Where do we put them? Is this one of them? Yeah. The 87s. I think he's going for 2K. Oh, we've been scooping them up, to be honest, down here at 2K. All of a sudden, let's start buying some of these bad boys. But he's 2K. Never in the past have we seen diamonds go for such a cheap value that are featured cards. And the reason they're going for so little is, again, some of them are in, these specific ones. This is to be mindful of. The spring breakouts, the souls, they're in the affinity program now, which is why the prices are getting completely demolished. But there's the ones that aren't in those programs. And their prices, not really holding steady either. And we even seen these spring breakouts where there was like a 10, 11K just a couple of days ago where they wasn't really going up either. And again, the vault pack will affect that one out, but not all of them were in a vault pack. The reason it's, they're so cheap is because in years past, these 87s, these 88s, these 89s, they would eventually dry up on a marketplace. And they'd eventually go for 15K, 20K because people needed them for the particular collections. Now, you look at season 1 collection, you need 280 players for the number on 99 overall. People are going to do it. People will do it. And I think, we're getting to that point to saying, all right, the price is going to rebound a little bit. But the fact of the matter is, up until, really this week, it wasn't possible. There is 60, what is there, 266? I think there, 66 times 4? I just have to freaking know. I'm looking at it. It's 66 times 4. That's what we had, and it is 264. There's 265 total players up. You still can't do it, actually. There's 15 more players that need to be put in this set for anybody to complete the collection. So there's no reason for people to lock the players in. There's no reason for people to grind it because it's a dead-end road. So I think that, again, kind of discouraging at the moment until you get to the point where you say, okay, now there's enough players. Now we can do it. But until then, there's no reason for people to say, all right, let's start locking this player and this player. And it's like, let's just try this out or let's try that out. But I think there's going to come a point in time, even some of these silvers, like, are they not? They are 998. You're going to see these silvers go up. You're going to see some of the golds go up just because it's going to come a point where people are going to finally complete those collections and say, yeah, I'm going to buy the cheapest one possible. Even if it's a silver for a K, that's cheaper than 5K for, a 90, even though the 90 is a better card. We don't really, you're not really planning on using it. You're just trying to lock it in. So that's what we're seeing this stuff kind of get destroyed right now because, again, we go back to the supply demand thing. If there's nobody, especially some of these 87s, that they don't play the best. A lot of the spring breakout players don't play the best. If nobody's buying them to use them and they're not making them quick untradeable by putting them in collections, that means you're just constantly floating across the market. There's not a lot of demand. There's a whole lot of supply. The reason it's gone up in the past is because everybody's locking these bad boys in a set. So let's say there's 1,000 of them released in packs. All 1,000 of them are still floating around, maybe 950. But when there's a collection, all of a sudden there's only 700 floating around, or there's always 600, and all of a sudden it's 500, it's 300, it's 200. And that's why you see the price go up and up and up and up until, they re-release some sort of vault pack or something or another. But because people aren't doing that, we're seeing the price just kind of completely plummet. So I do think, yeah, absolutely. If you're doing those collections, now's a beautiful time. It's a beautiful time to do any of the collections. They can't get much cheaper, some of these 2K, 3K players. But that's kind of the reason we're seeing it where they're at. And the way I'm looking at it is everything's it's a day-by-day game if you're going to buy and sell players on the marketplace. Like even Skeeves. He was an 80K player. But those are the kind of guys where because they're in that affinity, he's even in the vault choice, destroys his price. I wouldn't touch him, period. But there are players if you're looking to invest and stuff, if they're not in packs and you're not getting pumped into collections. I think the hyper ones, again, still a good example. Well, not all of them, but the ones that are like the packs. Like, I've still caught myself putting, 13K bid in for Chase Utley. Right now he's 13.72. I would probably, put it in for 12.7. Let it sit for 24 hours, pick it back up, see what it's at. If we got the bid, got the bid. If not, whatever. And then odds are you should go to sell for against 16, 17, and you still have that 4K or 5K profit. So you're seeing stuff like that still a possibility. I think that's the, if you're looking to flip cards, one of the better things you can still do. Of course, you can still play the spreads game as well, where you say, hey, 18K 9 by 22.787 for Andrew Miller. It's still 4K spread. So you're still going to make 1.5K, maybe 2K in stubs just flipping those cards. You just have to be a lot quicker. You can't be too hesitant and patient in years past with cards like that, because you're going to get eaten up because of how quickly things are fluctuating up and down, because they're not, they hold their value, they hold the stability more when these players, they're just not as liquid all over the market compared to how they are now. Takashi, same story. I'm going to be interested about that Mickey Mantle. Mantle got a solid card. He was in packs for a long time. He still is in packs. I don't know if he's out of packs. Okay, so, avoiding him. Anybody in the packs, you avoiding them. Anybody that's out of packs, so not a bad selection. And again, if you do want to go down that road of buying players that are in the pack, you can just be very, very, particular about it and look at it as a perfect investment if they're about to be out of packs. So, who knows when I'm taking Mickey Mantle out. But, let's say there's a card that's out for 4 days. That's a headliner's pack. It's like, okay, day 4, beautiful time to buy it. Hold on to it a few days. Price should rebound because it's no longer in packs. Sell it then. Nonetheless, though, that pretty much covers everything I want to talk about today. As always, I hope you all found the video helpful. If you did, I appreciate you liking and subscribing. You never have to. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.